Alright, all you Jeep fans, we got something else to install today. I'm going to get working on it right now. It's going to be a few days, maybe a week or two before it's actually installed, depending upon if I get the time or not. But what we have going on today, and sitting in the spot where the Jeep sits, Jeep is at the dealership, hoping to get the steering box replaced, but we have rock sliders. White Knuckle Off Road rock sliders. These are the ones that sit at a 45-degree angle to the Jeep, as you can tell. Just received the box. Box was ripped open, but appears to be no damage to the sliders, so good thing. What I'm doing now is just giving the sliders a quick rub, rubbing it down. Treat your sliders well, and they'll treat you well with some emery cloth. Just getting off all this nasty gunk, as well as some surface rust that has appeared. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but with the humidity out today, kind of just as soon as you rub it off, it just appears back. Next step will be to give it some more love, rub it down with some acetone to clean it up. And then at the very least for today is to get a coating of a self-etching primer on them. And then I'm going to let that dry for a few days before we paint them. I got the paint inside, but it's a truck bed paint. I'll show you that a little bit later. So right now, like I said, just sanded it down. Then I'm going to blow it off with the compressor outside. And we're going to put a coat of the primer on. So that's where we stand right now, but excited to get these on. I haven't seen many reviews of the White Knuckle sliders. So this may be not the first, but one of the few. And I hear some great things about them. They're solid as Sears though. These things, they're about 70 pounds a piece. I haven't weighed them. The box was 130. So I would assume at least 70 or so pounds, maybe 65, I don't know, somewhere around that. The shipment said 130, but they're heavy, they're stout. These welds look absolutely phenomenal, and I think they're going to be stout. They do secure to the frame of the Jeep, so that was one of the requirements that I wanted. So got them sanded down, cleaned them with some acetone, got the first coat of the self-etch primer on. It's just the top. I need to do the underside. Need to flip them over, get the underside done. Got these resting on blocks right here. Primer goes down pretty smoothly. This is pretty much dry. It's just about ready to be flipped. Get the other side. So like I said, just want to get them primered today. And then can apply the truck bed coating, which I'll show you a bottle of at some point, and then just let them dry up for 3-4 days, and then they'll be ready to mount. Alright, we're laying down the black truck bed paint. This is what I have, Rustoleum Truck Bed Coating, black. Seems to have good reviews. Coming out of the can, seems to want to shoot propellant and not the paint at points, so you got to make sure that the paint is coming out. But we're just giving this a light coat on the top right now. Once it dries, we'll either flip it or give it a second coat on this top section, and then move to the bottom piece. So again, Rustoleum Truck Bed Coating. All right, so just removed the stock rock rails. The White Knuckle Off Road are all painted up. I'm going to let them cure for at least 3 days. Put them in the house where the humidity is lower. But I am prepping the Jeep. Where you see the area down here, which I've already painted black to blend in. And although I have a Sting Gray, it should blend in pretty well. we wanted to paint the little rail here flat black, so it's not as visible when the rock rails, the White Knuckle Off Road rock rails are on. I'm not sure it will be visible, but just in case, it's easy enough to prep right now and get them sprayed. So, you know, that's the next step. Like I said, in a few days we'll get these installed once that paint has cured. Alright, time for the install. We have the sliders all painted up. They look pretty decent. The truck bed liner took pretty well to them. There's some little splotches here and there. Certainly not show quality paint, but these are going to get all banged up, chipped up, scraped up. So I'm not really worried about them being perfect. The sliders come with the instructions and some plates and some hardware. The instructions don't really match up to what's included. For instance, the only large plate that came with it was labeled third, which means it goes, I think, to the third hole. But this was the only one with a zip tie on it with a hole up top. Although the instructions mention that you use one of these front ones with double-sided tape. This has double-sided tape, I believe, on the wrong side. Double-sided tape, so what you do is you install this into this slot here. You double-side it temporarily to the frame so you can capture the nut. I haven't done that yet, obviously. I just want to make sure that how it's going to line up with this little leg here, and how it goes through here matches up. Small plates that say front drop in here and will be lined up with the hole right here. So basically it's going to sit in there with the nut up and lined up there, and the same thing for the other sides. Okay, so I got the where is it? I got the small plate in here. I got the larger plate in here. I ended up removing the zip tie. Perhaps those weren't needed, even though I thought they would be. And it's stuck to the inside of the frame rail with double-sided tape. Also removed the bolt here for the factory skid, because this little tab is going to go into here. Now, so this is the only part that's set. It says now you lift up the skid or the rock rail on a jack, position it into the front here, get this bolt started first, then dislodge it from the rail, the double-sided tape, so you can move it and get this bolt threaded in. And then I guess we move on to the second and or third mounts down there. Okay, so I got the rail lifted up. What I did was I initially positioned it on these floor jacks with some pool noodles on top. I needed to get just a tad bit higher, use the jack, and it rests on there pretty nicely. It's not wanting to fall off. And now, I don't know if you can see, but I'm trying to get this first hole aligned. So I got to get that first bolt in, and then I get this second bolt in down here. So that's the next step. All right, looking under the front side, the first area where we need to attach the rails to. This top bolt was in first. Remember, that was the long backing plate with the double-sided tape. Got that in, and then I just pushed the bolt in to dislodge the tape from the inside of the rail. Had the small backing plate inside the rail here aligned, or I aligned it with the hole. Gingerly threaded that onto the backing plate because it's loose in there. So these two are on, they're loose. And I think we're moving on to the middle now. this one. The second hole was easy for this second support. It was just the factory skid bolt that we reused and placed it right there. Now we're moving on to this third support from the rails. All right, so we're under the Jeep on the driver's side again. The third bracket for the rails was easy enough. This bolt just gets placed in here and then is captured by this, not sure if you're seeing it here, captured by this backing plate. And then the last support is right here. Bolt with the kit threads directly into the frame. They do give you a couple of extra holes in the rails. There's one here, I believe there's one further up, that the kit provides a self-tapping bolt. We'll have to do a pilot hole and get that drilled, but that'll just add some more support, so I am going to install those. Next is, I believe, to be tighten everything up. All right, this one has been installed, other than the self-tapping screws, which we need to drill holes in. Probably do that tomorrow or Sunday. Wasn't bad to get this on. The big deal was aligning those backing plates in the front holes. Same process for the passenger side, but I think there's one issue with having to reverse a bolt so it doesn't contact the gas tank, and I'll get video of that, but and I'll get better video of this outside when everything is buttoned up. But this is how it is. As you can see, this is how far it sits from the Jeep. Doors have full clearance, and you can actually use it as a little step if needed to get in, or to strap things to the roof, or to wash the roof. Plenty of clearance, good inch right there. And again, it's frame mounted, so they should be fairly stout. All right, I'll get going on the passenger side and let you know what we need to do with that bolt near the gas tank. Okay, working on the passenger side, I got the first two bolts or supports from the rock rails already mounted or secured. The third one is a little bit different because of the gas tank. This backing plate is going to go between the gas tank and the frame, with this bolt protruding into the frame. So you don't want the bolt going towards the gas tank like this. It's going to go through the frame. And then this 3 3/8 or something like that screw that's provided, or bolt that's provided, will go through the rails into the frame and then into the plate this way. And that's how it'll look. So I'm going to get that mounted up, and then get the fourth bolt on there, which is the stock factory skid plate bolt. Okay, so regarding that third bolt that needs to go in, the third mounting, the mount requires a large backing plate marked 3 passenger to be placed between the gas tank and the frame, with a welded nut protruding inward through the inboard frame hole. 2-sided tape will blah 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 blah. It says it may take a few tries to get the threads started, so be patient. I got this done in less than 15 seconds. And here's how. Here's the bolt. You can see the zip tie from the backing plate. I put the backing plate over the frame rail because it's not going to fit through here. Fed it down the frame, and you can have your hand on the actual backing plate that you put down there, and then I kind of just felt around until that welded nut slid into the hole in the frame, and when it did, that's when I put this bolt in and just captured the nut, and it's not tight, but it's captured the nut, so that one's in there. That was easy enough. Now I'm going to go put the stock factory skid plate bolt right here, and then we'll tighten them down. Okay, here's the White Knuckle Off Road sliders all mounted up. Again, we still have to mount the or install the 4 self-tapping screws for extra strength. It's an optional deal, you don't have to do it. They sit just below the doors, can be used as a step. I think they're going to be very, very secure. They are a little dirty from my handling. And like I said, the paint not perfect. I had a little smudge here. Not a big deal. Might put some non-slip tape over the areas where people will be stepping. Not sure what I'm going to do there, but possibly. Other side. It came out really well. It's a stout build too. The welds are really, really nice on this. There was really nothing that looked kind of out of place. The box that it was delivered in was torn to shreds, but seems the rock sliders made it through shipping and handling. So that's what they look like. That's what they look like from a distance. Give us some extra protection when we're off in the rocks. So looking forward to doing that. And what I like is that they come up. So you know, the stock sliders were just down here, protected the underside. Wasn't going to protect this sill plate or even the doors for that matter. Here, if you hit a rock over here, it's not going to get any closer to the Jeep than right here. Now being frame mounted, I'm hoping that the sliders hold up and will not be thrust into the body of the Jeep. I don't think that would happen, but at least there's some additional insurance that if you nail a rock right here, hopefully it'll keep the rock far enough away from the body. Now White Knuckle also makes this same set, but in a 90-degree bend. So basically this is at a 45. This would be sitting flat, so it's more like a step. So it would get you out a little bit further. I didn't, you know, it's a nice design for if you like it, but to me it takes up more square footage when you have these resting at a 90 degrees. So if there's more square footage exposure, you're more apt to get hung up on something. So these were tucked in nice and close, and that's what I liked about them. Okay, we're putting in these optional bolts into the holes, 2 on each side. We got to first drill the frame. We're using a right angle drill. It takes a little bit. We're using 3 different drill bits, stepping up a little bit, and then using an impact to get this in with a universal joint. All right, so what we're going to do now is we have the hole drilled. This is the self-tapping bolt that is provided. We have the universal socket adapter with a 14mm socket on it. I am going to wear my ear protection because I absolutely cannot stand the sound of this this bolt going in, but we'll get this one in right now. And you want to try and get that bolt to be as straight as possible when you're cutting the threads. All right, so you get the bolt in fairly far, and I'm going to finish it up with a socket. You don't want to do these too tightly as you'll end up stripping the thread. So kind of just checking it to see how tight it is with the socket wrench, and it is fairly tight. So I'm not going to go any further. I don't want to risk destroying the threads. So that one's in. All right, we got the other side to do, but that's basically how it's done. We'll do the other side. All right, so we got the 4 additional bolts in that we had to drill the frame on, and those were fairly simple. What we're going to do now is jack up this side of the Jeep just by the rock rails. Supposedly it does hold the weight. We're about to see. I'm going to use a block of wood so I don't mar up the rock rails. All right, so the wood's solely on the rock rail. Let's see what happens. Alright, so as you can tell, the front is off, the rear is off. We got the jack just on the rock rail. Doesn't look like it's any closer to the Jeep, doesn't, you know, not bending in or anything, so it certainly is supporting the Jeep from one location. Looks good. Alright, well, now it's off to test them on the trails. Not today, but test them on the trails, see how they hold up, and we'll report back once we have more information. But I want to thank you again for tuning in for the install of the White Knuckle Off Road rock rails. You know, if you like the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe if you choose to do so, because we'll have other installs coming sometime soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.